What is up, guys? Lord Respawn here. Welcome to the video. So in this video, we're talking Pokemon Sword and Shield. And the main thing that we're going to talk about in this particular video is I'm going to recommend a Pokemon for each type in the game that you can catch in the Galar region. Now, some of this is just, me saying this is the best Pokemon, so take it for what it is. But I guarantee you, if you choose the Pokemon that I recommend for you for this specific type, you will be in a very, very good spot when you're battling Pokemon throughout the game, or trainers, or gym battles, or the Champions Cup, whatever it is. If you choose these Pokemon and this is something, this is a type that you want in your squad, these are very good types. Now, they're not perfect. If you don't agree with the type of Pokemon, or the specific Pokemon that I choose, to each their own, but this is my best Pokemon for each category based on who I use, and as well as just some research that I have done. So let's go right into this. Hopefully this video helps you out. Hopefully it helps you kind of choose your team based on how you want to structure it. So the first one, the best normal type Pokemon is Snorlax. As you guys know, he's probably been one of the strongest normal type Pokemon in any Pokemon game ever. Just extremely strong, extremely hard to defeat when it is very high level. So if you're looking for a normal type Pokemon on your team, Snorlax is honestly your best bet for getting that job done. Fire type, Colossal. Can't beat it. Brand new Pokemon to the Galar region. If you want a new type Pokemon that is has obviously not been seen in previous games, and you don't want to go the Charizard route, Colossal is the way to go. Colossal was a part of my team that took me all the way through the Champions Cup, and he honestly just dominated whenever given the chance. And I mean, he's just overall he is super strong, and then he the fire moves that he can learn, and then also the rock type and ground type moves that he has or he can have. Very, very strong for your entire journey. So, fire type, Colossal. Next up, this is a little bit different. So, water type. So, Barraskewda, I think is how you say. So, I went a little different. So, I personally had Inteleon as my water type Pokemon, and that was just personal choice. I'm, Team Sobble all the way. But from a water perspective, and thinking that you don't want to use Gyarados because it's way too cliche, personally I've used Gyarados in almost every single Pokemon game that I've had, so I wanted to switch it up and use Barraskewda. He's just strong and reliable. I did end up using him a little bit in my personal game, but again, I did have Inteleon. But if you're looking for a water type Pokemon, I mean, he will not fail you. I promise you that. Everybody does use Gyarados, but I wanted to kind of throw a loop to show an alternative for Gyarados because, a lot of people do use him, as I mentioned. Grass type, Eldegoss. Now, I didn't want to use the Grookey evolution line, so Eldegoss is probably your best bet. I'm personally not a big fan of grass type Pokemon. This is just who I would recommend if you do want to use a grass type Pokemon. Next up, Electric, Boltund. Honestly, one of the best Pokemon in the game. I use Boltund in my personal team, and he took me all the way through the Champions Cup. Yamper is just an amazing Pokemon, and you can catch him early on, so it's nice to have Yamper almost from the beginning. I think like Route 2 you can catch Yamper, something like that. So super, super helpful Pokemon, and you can get Manectric and things like Jolteon or whatever, or Pikachu, but Boltund, I mean, brand new Pokemon. Yamper, the pre-evolution to Boltund, just very, very strong, and will definitely help you against water type. And in the water gym against Nessa, Boltund, Yamper, must-haves on your team. Next up, we've got the ice type Pokemon. You got Ice-Q. So I didn't personally use Ice-Q. This is just based on what I've seen from others that have used him. He's incredibly, incredibly strong. I mean, it's a penguin with an ice block on his head. I mean, do I really have to say anything else? But really, I mean, if you're looking for a ice-only Pokemon that is very, very strong and will take you pretty far in the game, I think Ice-Q is a very, very good option for you to do. Fighting type, so this is a little bit different. So Phalanx, there's a lot of different fighting type Pokemon that you can choose. Obviously, Machoke is in the game, but I decided to switch it up, add a new type Pokemon. On paper, he's one of the strongest in the game in terms of attack and defense, but I know a lot of people probably are not going to take him, but I do recommend you should try him out, see how he does on your team. He's not going to fail you, I promise you that. Next up, Poison type. So we got Toxtricity. He got a lot of publicity, nice little rhyme there, throughout the game and throughout like just the hype on social media and things like that. He's got statues all over the Galar region. Nobody really knows like the background of those, but if you're looking for a poison type Pokemon that can also do electric and just really dominate throughout the game, I think Toxtricity is the way to go. He was like a 7-8 on my team, right? He was one of the ones that didn't quite make it, but I altered kind of in and out throughout my journey. So I would highly recommend if you're into that poison kind of style of gameplay. This is like a no-brainer to add to your team. Next up, ground type, Sandaconda. Another one that is just incredibly strong from a ground perspective. There's a few that you could use out there, but Sandaconda, if you want a ground type Pokemon, he's the one to use, and there's really nothing else that needs to be said about that. Just one of the strongest Pokemon in the game. So definitely, if you want ground, check out Sandaconda. Flying, Corviknight, hands down, one of the best Pokemon in the game. I think literally 95% of people have Corviknight on their team. So if you're not a big flying person, Corviknight is, you need Corviknight on your team. That's pretty much all I gotta say. It's just such an amazing Pokemon. It is unbelievably strong and can help you in almost every single gym, as well as a Champions Cup. Just an unbelievably reliable and strong Pokemon. So just do it. Just add Corviknight to your team and do yourself a favor. Next up, Sidekick. So, Reuniclus? I don't even know how to say his name. I forget. But from a Sidekick perspective, I decided to switch it up. We could use some of the other Sidekick type in the game, but on paper, looking at, some of the different moves that he has and things like that, solid option from a Sidekick perspective. So I definitely encourage you to check it out. I'm not a big Sidekick person, but I know a lot of people are. So if you're trying to use somebody a little bit different that you don't normally use, check them out. Next up, Bug type. So Bug is one of those types that, I don't think a lot of people really use like long term. They might use it early in the game, but a lot of people don't use Bug. So I had one Bug move for Inteleon that I did use for a little while, but it's just not my thing. But looking at the stats of Golisopod, you can't beat it. This thing is an absolute unit. Highly recommend to use. Definitely want to catch it, and it's kind of terrifying when it comes up behind you in the wild area and starts chasing you and things like that. So if you're looking for a bug type Pokemon, look no further. This is honestly your best bet. And if you're using bug type, good for you, because I don't think a lot of people do. So hopefully that kind of narrows down your bug search. Next up, rock type. So you've got Stonejourner. I don't know. It's a giant stone. So how can it possibly be bad? No, it's got a lot of HP. It's very strong. Obviously not good against water type, but overall, if you're looking for a rock type Pokemon, literally a gigantic rock outside of Onix, this is your best bet, without a doubt. Just look at it. It is massive, and you're just going to one-hit a lot of different Pokemon. So definitely check him out if you're looking for a rock-only Pokemon. Ghost type. So you could go the Haunter, Gengar route, or you could use the Runerigus. I don't even know how to say it. Comment below. How do you say his name? Because I am blanking right now. kind of a weird Pokemon. It's got like dragon, sketched on him and things like that. But if you look at the stats and you look at his moves and all of that, he definitely is a great Gengar alternative, something that you can use in your journey to defeat basically the Champions Cup. I did not use Ghost in my team, but I know a lot of people did, and I know that quite a few people are actually using him in comp as well, so keep him in mind when you are putting together your team. Dragon type. So this one could be kind of debatable, but I went ahead and put Duraludon on here. He's in, I think the 8th gym leader has a Gigantamax one of him, and you really just can't go wrong with him. You could use Dragapult, but from my experience, I did use Dragapult on my team initially, but he's not very strong. He doesn't have a lot of health. He seemed to have got one hit quite a bit. Maybe it was just the one that I had. I don't know. But this thing, you can Gigantamax it. Honestly, it is just an absolute unit. Part 2. That's the second time I've said unit, and I don't regret it. So I recommend him. Give him a try. He is one of the trade Pokemon that you can get. So check out my video about trading in-game trades. You can get him for free. I forget off the top of my head who you have to trade, but it is in Winden City that you will make that trade. Dark type, Grimmsnarl. He was on my final team. One thing about him is you can have dark and fairy type moves. He can kind of do both. So it is a great alternative if you do want to mix in dark and fairy and only have one Pokemon in your group. So I honestly, I could not recommend Grimmsnarl enough. He's kind of equivalent to Corviknight. Extremely strong, extremely helpful in the Champions Cup, and really you should just have him on your team. Steel type, Copperajah. This thing is massive. I mean, it is a gigantic elephant. Very, very strong, high HP, high defense, high everything, and it just, you want to knock people out, you want to win, you want to, basically, yeah, you just want to win, and you want a steel type Pokemon, you add this guy to your team. I love the design on him, just an amazing Pokemon overall. Highly recommend if you want a steel type on your team. And last but not least, fairy type, Hatterene, straight fairy, 100%, and this thing, from a fairy perspective, hands down best one in the game. Just from all the different moves that it can learn and how strong it is, you will not regret putting Hatterene on your team. So, guys, let me know in the comments. Did this video help you out? Would love to know. Hopefully, this helped you kind of formulate your 6-squad team. And yeah, for more Pokemon Sword and Shield content, keep it right here. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next Sword and Shield video. Later.